Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Skills Tournament. Oh my gosh.
I am Douglas, joined here by Sylvie Nuki, and we're going to be commentating over a pretty exciting match between valignatev and ColbyWan. This is a win and in for both players being 3-1. The loser is not out of the tournament necessarily, but will probably have to play a tiebreaker.
Yes, definitely. It's actually quite exciting. Valley's got a mid 50, was it? I'm not entirely sure what their PBs are. I should research this stuff beforehand, shouldn't I? Let's see.
I believe he's had a few recent PBs that have pushed him just to the mid 50 mark
Right.
recently.
So a 50-27 for Valley, and for Colby, a 54.06. That is what their SRC says. They might have some unverified runs. If anyone happens to know that, please let us know. But other than that, we should be good to start off pretty soon. I'll get the runners counted down and ready to go. All right. And they should be off. There's going to be a bit of a stream delay, but once that catches up, we'll see the runners be going.
So a few things I think to look out for early is because of the difference in PBs, we'll see whether our two runners choose to go for slightly different strats. Kind of the generally accepted wisdom is that if you're favored in a match, you go for more safe strats. If you're the underdog, you go for more risky strats. So we'll see if that plays out this way. Valignatev especially, known for not going for a lot of risky strats, kind of preferring the consistency in the mid to late game. So we'll see how that impacts the actual race.
Yeah, hopefully Colby will be able to pull out some hype stuff, maybe keep it a bit more even. I find it hard when I feel like the top like 10 runners are always a step ahead of just everyone below them for some reason. But we'll hold our hopes that Colby will be able to pull something awesome out.
Yeah, I think especially in a category as movement heavy as all skills, a lot of the big time saves come from just a lot of small things adding up as opposed to a few big things.
That's very true, actually, considering there's just a lot of little missteps you can make, inconsistencies or unoptimizations that will just bring the timer higher and higher, as
So
much as you
both
hate to
players
say it.
getting pretty good Vengefly RNG. Colby gets the soft fall. Valley's coming up. We'll see if he gets it as well. And both players get it. So both of our runners on pace for a pretty good KP.
Very well done. Looking like a... Ooh, well, we'll get the sync up here, but it's looking like a maybe 51 for both of them. That's very awesome.
Yep. 51 is always what you want to see in a race setting. And anything below a 53, I think, is pretty much you're going to be happy with that. And in a race, kind of no reset setting.
Absolutely. There's not a whole of a heck of a lot to talk about in this early portion of the run. We're just going to be going through crossroads. There's a few little techniques and movement that we'll be able to play with, but it's just walking until we get our first spell of the game. And I guess technically the first boss that we skip. But speaking of movement, we're coming up to the Gruz drop here. In RNG section, we can get hit either 0 to 3 times. Valley is going to be taking the middle route, however. A more consistent but a slightly slower strat. And Colby also gets a 0 hit taking the regular strat.
Yeah, so we see Colby pull ahead by just a little bit for two reasons. Number one, that he did buffer the jumps a little bit better in Dirtmouth and got a cleaner entrance with the pre-jump, and then also because of Valley going for the more consistent Gruz drop room that loses a bit of time.
So Valley actually went for an interesting technique with the double spike there, going for underplat, or sorry, the lower plat, and actually misses both of them, causing a little bit more of a lead for Colby, who got one of the two, able to clean it up a little bit quicker.
Yeah, so it looks like it's about 2 seconds for Colby. We see also the exit on the Aspid Arena was, I believe, a 146 for Colby, a 148 for Valley. Generally, 145 is kind of the mark to where if you're below that and everything else goes perfectly, you can get a 3-2 XVS. If you're above that and everything else goes well, you can get sort of a low 330. So we'll see how it goes for both runners, because both runners could make a mistake. Both runners could get bad RNG with the Husks or with False Knights. So it'll be interesting to see what the VS time ends up being.
Yeah, I wonder if Colby is pulling ahead because Valley has put more emphasis on late game practice than Colby. It's a possibility, or maybe Colby is just having a better day right now. We'll see.
Yeah, Valley is definitely known for having a good late game, especially.
Yeah, that's very fair. We're going to be coming up to what is technically the first boss of the run, False Knight. We're just going to do one cycle of him, beat him up a little bit, then smack his head. But then he's going to throw a tantrum, break the left wall, which we can break even further to escape the arena early. We'll be seeing both of the runners doing that right here. Just going to throw a little tantrum, bang, bang. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're out.
So it looks like it's about a 1.5 difference between Valley and Colby. So Valley able to make up a little bit of the time. I believe he did get a slightly cleaner False Knight fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think both our runners definitely on pace for a low 3-3x VS, which is a very good time for a race setting.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I would take that in a run, let alone a race.
Yeah.
Yeah, very even. Just about a second apart for the runners. Oh, not even.
Yep, and so now we're going to be coming up on Ancient Mound. This is a section both with a lot of opportunities for small movement optimizations, as well as one of the first major sources of RNG in the run. We'll see how the Balder spits end up working out for both runners. Hopefully they both get a first spit, but Balders have been known to not cooperate at all. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep, I believe tournament record is 11 spits and world record is a 19. Or was it 18? Either way, hopefully we don't get anywhere near those numbers in this race. It's never fun to have. Ooh, Colby a little late on the fireball there, it looks like.
So I believe that was a 4th spit and a 5th spit for Valley and Colby, respectively.
Yep.
Both runners not going to be very happy with that at all, but luckily it did remain pretty even. We didn't see a huge gap between the runners in terms of the RNG.
Yeah, it's about a second difference per spit. And there was roughly about a second apart for the both runners anyway. Except now it's kind of reversed. Valley is now a little bit in the lead when before Colby was a little bit in the lead, but it's still anyone's match at this point.
Absolutely. And we're coming up now on Mothwing Cloak. This is a great opportunity for either of the runners to pull ahead. There's a lot of difficult things in this split, a lot of opportunities for small optimizations, not just in the movement, but especially in the Hornet fight as well. This, I would say, is actually one of the more difficult splits in the run, at least for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of not only big tricks to pull off, but a lot of micro movement that's awkward when you don't have any of your movement items like dash or claw. So it's understandable why someone would find this difficult.
Yeah, both
Speaking,
runners nailing the first fireball skip, which is very nice. See,
mhm,
Valley actually managed to save a little bit of time climbing up the Gruz drop room. Colby had sort of awkward Gruzzer positions and had to stay a bit on some of the platforms to farm soul.
yeah, and we're just going to be getting up to max soul, 9 hits of soul, hopefully anyway with Colby. Yep, perfect. And we're coming up to our second fireball skip here. You see, I find a lot of the time I need 3 fireballs for this one, but Valley gets it in 2
Valley
fireballs,
nails it with 2,
and
and Colby
Colby
nails it
does
with 2 as well.
perfect.
Both runners 2 for 2 so far. Hopefully they'll make that a 3 for 3.
Yeah. Using this Moss Charger to get the little extra soul we need to be able to come here on Valley side. Boom, boom. Third fireball skip
And yep,
performed
nails it.
excellently.
And
Perfect.
Colby nails it as well. 3 for 3 for both runners. Exactly what we want to see for this race.
Well, yes.
Colby getting a bit of awkward RNG with the husks. There is like a small sort of addition to the ceiling there to where there's some parts of the room that you can't pogo over the husks. And unfortunately, one of them was there, so he had to kill the husks as opposed to Valley, who could just go around them.
Hmm.
So a bit more of a time lead for Valley, as he also nails the double hit on the Moss Knight. We'll see if Colby goes for that. He does.
Wow.
This is a strat that historically people haven't done as much. It's now becoming a little more commonplace, and it does manage to save a lot of soul. So it's especially important for all skills because you want to be at 8 hits of soul coming into the Moss Knights, as opposed to
Hmm.
something like any percent where you don't need to be at full soul for the Vengefly King kill.
Indeed. Speaking of the Moss Knights, though, we are going to drop down here and come to them. There's a couple places they can spawn in. Valley has the good RNG, though, being able to cast his fireballs without having to worry about it. Colby, on the other hand, has to wait a little while for the right Moss Knight to show up before he can cast his fireballs, getting the unfortunate side of the RNG there. Um,
Yeah, Colby also tried to do something that a lot more people are doing, where you try to, similar to the double hit, you try to bait the first Moss Knight into jumping back so that you have more time to hit the Geo Rocks. Unfortunately, he was just a little bit late on the jump and had to take a damage tank. Not too dangerous. You're not likely to die on to Hornet on 4 masks, but just
no.
a little small thing that went poorly for Colby.
Valley managing to bully Hornets, keeping her stun lock in the corner, taking a couple hits, but nothing major. Uh, Colby seemingly a little bit more unfortunate with the jump lengths, unable to keep Hornet in the corner.
Yeah, Valley, I would say, had sort of medium Hornet RNG, pretty good execution, but Hornet wasn't fully cooperating, but she wasn't really trolling him too much
Mhm.
with the jumps. I'd say a similar thing for Colby as well. He did have an unfortunate miss on a nail hit that ended up costing him some time, but both
Uh,
runners still having a pretty good time for the Mothwing Cloak split.
for sure. Very commendable. You'd be happy with that in almost any situation. But now
So
we're
now we
going to be heading down into fungal wastes. Not a whole lot of movement for right now, or sorry, tricks for right now. It's just a lot of smooth movement as we drop down into the acid gullies. to. Actually, it looks like Valley is going to have to kill Jen. Oh no, never mind. Only 2 hits. I lied. But
Yeah, this is something that it's more common in all skills than any percent to hit the aspid on the way down because you're coming from the leftmost transition instead of coming from the stag station. Looks like Colby also not going to have to kill Jennifer, the beloved jumping NPC.
I'm not sure if this is a sync or if we're just seeing Valley frozen for right now. It's just a freeze. Okay. Hopefully we'll see Valley again moving soon. Oh, there we go. Looks like Valley did not get a very good cleanup.
Yeah, it
Maybe
looks like he did
that'll
have quite a few stragglers there. We'll see how Colby does.
a
Ooh,
few
Colby
strag
also having a few stragglers.
I think cleaned it up much much quicker than Valley.
So we see about a 5 geo lead for Valley. Probably not going to make a huge difference in these next few splits going up to dash slash, but where those small geo leads really become relevant is in the King Station split as well as the sort of Sanctum area, because there's a lot of flexibility with runners in terms of where they can choose to get geo. So I think especially for an experienced runner like Valley, if he has a really good amount of geo in those splits, he can choose to skip some of the geo and save a bit of time there.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of little places that are set out in all skills to be able to farm the geo. The more of them you can skip, the better. Um, However, if you don't have enough geo, then that feels even worse. So it's not a time loss to be able to do them.
Absolutely, yeah. So you see Blue Lake here, not too much going on. We'll see if either player goes for the Soul Totem. Valley does, and he gets it. That's like a very, very small optimization where you hit the Soul Totem through the floor, but you do get an extra hit of Soul, which is going to be helpful for going into City. Colby choosing not to go for it.
I'm not sure if that's happened already, but it seems there are a bit of audio problems with the stream, and I'm not sure if it's been restarted. But if that hasn't happened, then we'll be seeing a restart soon. Already happened. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, so both players making their way through City. Gonna get some geo. We do need quite a bit of geo for dash slash, and so we're going to be killing almost all the husks in City of Tears.
Yeah, and we'll be
And
coming
also going to
up.
be heading over to Gorgeous Husk.
Yeah, it drops 420 geo. Still not even quite enough with this route to be able to get dash slash. We'll be farming some hoppers on the way to be able to finish up the cap there. But look at this golden boy.
Yeah, Valley getting a bit of awkward RNG where Gorgeous Husk wasn't cooperating too much with the double hits, as well as getting some geo in the hallway. So we'll see if Colby manages to get a bit better RNG there and save a bit of time.
Yeah, good patterns. It looks like. Ooh, that's definitely in the
Oh
hallway.
yeah. Colby getting a few more double hits, but also getting a lot of geo in the hallway. That's very awkward.
Mm-hmm. Manages
We'll
to
see both runners
deal with it.
actually being quite good on geo, 736 and 733 respectively.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, you can get 96 geo from these 2 rows of hoppers. So it looks like, if they go for all that geo, or even if they miss a few, they're going to end up with 20 or 30.
Yeah, it's definitely going. They're definitely comfy on Geo right now. They likely won't need to go out of their way to farm anymore. Yeah, just getting what's along the way. And here are the hoppers, smacking them a bunch and then firing a couple fireballs. Very well done on Valley's end. They're very consistent, though I still find their movement quite annoying.
Yeah, there's a lot of small optimizations you can do to kind of use the movement of the hoppers specifically. And a lot of that is stuff that's just been discovered in the past few months, or just been optimized in the past few months, which is kind of cool to see because this tournament has really helped people push this category to its limit
Mm-hmm.
and find all the small optimizations just to gain a tiny bit of an edge over your opponent.
Yeah, such a competitive category it's become. The times have all just skyrocketed down, and it's become quite dense, the upper leaderboard. But anyway, we're getting our dash slash here. That's going to be very useful to us. Skipping quite a few rooms in Soul Sanctum because we can just hit levers from where we're not supposed to, um, and make our way through without having to experience some of the rougher rooms that other categories have to do, like current patch. Um, but yeah, we'll be seeing how they're used coming along here.
See, Valley actually going through the bottom route of this room. This is an optimization that I actually haven't seen from many runners. I'm not sure actually whether it's faster to go the top or the bottom route. It depends a lot on the RNG for the husks, but it looks like Valley finds that either faster or more consistent, at least.
From what I've heard, it is a little faster. However, you get a lot less soul from it.
Oh, that makes sense. And it looks
Yeah.
like Colby's also doing that same thing.
I think he went up. Yeah, he went. He was gonna go for the upper route there, but then realized that he's gonna do the new strategy, and then drop right down after hitting the top husk in the King Station room there.
Yeah, Valley getting some awkward spacing from these husks, has to sort of pause in his dashing a bit. We'll see if Colby fares a little bit better. Valley, though, had a very clean Spire room. Got the lever skip hitless and managed to go very quickly against these flying husks. Colby, on the other hand, getting a bit of awkward RNG there and having to kill one of the husks as Valley saves the grub, the people's hero.
Whoa.
So Valley now heading up to Shade Soul. This is the most significant sequence break in the run.
Douglas, I think we're getting a bit of feedback from your mic. Or wait, where is that coming from? Sorry, I'm not sure what's happening. Sorry. I'm not. Something's weird right now.
You still getting feedback?
I think I fixed it. Okay.
So we see Valley going for some of these small optimizations with the dash slash on the elevators to hit them from just a bit further away, as well as going for the wall cling storage as Colby gets Shade Soul. Valley's going to be using Shade Soul here to kill the Soul Warrior.
Okay.
Valley choosing to Shade Soul the Soul Twister. Pretty good decision, I think, because it can be very annoying
Yeah.
as you go through this room.
They could be quite a pain teleporting into you, causing the damage that you really would rather not have. Especially coming into Soulmaster here, as Valley is. There is a quick kill that we're going to hope that both runners are going to execute on. However, it is a bit RNG, depending if Soulmaster decides he's going to get the good one or bad one. We'll see if the runners will be able to get the quick kill or not.
Yeah, Valley going for this strat with the soul containers where you hit them from off screen with a Shade Soul. And oh well, Soulmaster really not behaving at all, staying in place, but Valley able to get a double in the next attack and make pretty quick work of Soulmaster.
That was still very good.
Oh yeah. So we'll see how this fight fares for Colby. Looks like he's choosing to heal a bit. That is going to lose him a bit of time as he has one fewer Shade Soul, but a pretty good strat for safety, definitely.
Ooh.
As Valley actually misses a Shade Soul.
Yeah.
Sort of unfortunate. Going for the kind of swag strat that saves a bit of time from Monsta, but not quite making it. It is a quite difficult strat doing the wall jumps there. And Colby getting the perfect attack. Actually, this clock attack, you can get multiple double hits. So able to make very quick work of Soulmaster.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't quite get the initial startup for the quick kill. However, executed a bit later. It seems to be maybe a slight bit slower than Valley's fight. I'm not entirely sure though. Either way, it's very equal. About not a whole lot of time difference between the fights.
Yeah, we'll see whether Colby manages to stay on 3 health here. Valley did go down to 1 and have to heal just for a bit of safety. Also went for the dash/storage in this room, but unfortunately got hit out of it. Ooh, and gets hit again. This is actually looking a bit fraught with peril for Valley, being on 1 health here.
A little scary.
We'll see if he chooses to heal.
I don't know
And
if
it looks like he will heal. We have a bit of
yeah.
frame drops on the stream, but did manage to see him focus and actually heal twice.
There we go. Now that we're done with Sanctum, we're just going to be collecting what little geo we need to be able to get up to 300 geo to be able to afford the King's Station Stag. That is going to be the last thing we need to save up our geo for, because the rest will be given to us in a Watcher Knight's chest.
Looks like Valley's at 294. Colby, on the other hand, at 266. So Valley is definitely going to be saving a bit of time here because he won't have to really do much geo collection. I would probably suspect that he's going to skip the entire row of husks here and just dive through the floor.
That would
Whereas
make
Colby
sense.
is probably going to have to dive through, probably going to have to do both.
Oh.
No, actually, looks like Valley is going to be collecting a little extra geo. We'll see if he still chooses to dive through the floor. It does save time a bit later when you're going to Isma's.
Yeah.
But he does not need the geo necessarily.
Both runners.
Colby also rescues that same grub that Valley
Yeah.
rescued. It's
Let's
like both runners playing to the people.
Giving the people what they want, for sure. Valley taking a required bench. It's a bit out of the way, but in the end, it saves a whole heck of a amount of time. Can I please speak English today? He's going to be diving down through the glass there. This is where we would pick up the last geo if we needed it. Valley does not, however, and just goes on his merry way.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing that he didn't need the geo because the dive only hit one of the husks. It's sort of a bit inconsistent as to how many husks it hits. So if he did need the geo, he would have had to spend a lot more time getting it with a Shade Soul or whatever else. Not going for the Photoshop jump, I think very respectable in a race setting. And this bench that we saw Colby just take, that we saw Valley take a bit earlier, they're going to want to remain on that bench for the entirety of these next 2 splits, next 3 splits actually, for Crystal Dash, D-Dark, and Dreamnail. So this is
ColbyWan, unfortunately, scary health here, since there is still quite a bit of the route to go.
Ooh,
With
actually going for the
Stompers and
damage
Darkroom.
cycle, that's very dangerous on 3 masks.
Mm-hmm.
Means he cannot take another damage from here up until going into D-Dark.
Valley going for the Darkroom. I assume he'll be doing dash strats. Here we go. Yep. Just going through, memorizing where all the platforms are and the best places to dash for them. And gets through without a single issue.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. That always feels super satisfying when you can get through there just holding right the entire way and just with dashes.
For sure.
We'll see if he goes for this weird pogo here. Oh, it does not. Looks like the Crystal Hunter's in too awkward of a spot for it.
Yeah, shooting a bit early, it looks like, giving Valley 1 damage there. However, making it through still very well. We're going to be setting up for an early control, hitting it 7 times, and then once more with a dash slash, making it slide over, fall into the spikes to respawn here and giving us early control while it's giving us Desolate Dive. Very fun trick to pull off.
Yeah, it looks like Colby chose to heal, which I think is a very smart decision. You know, you can get wombo comboed in a lot of these rooms for 2 health, and you really don't want that to happen when your bench is so far away.
Mm-hmm. It's also a chance to get a 3-hit combo. A bit rare, but does happen.
We see Valley going into Dreamnail. Hopefully he'll go for the underplat.
Yes, the underflat. Let's go.
Dreamnail, not a dangerous split necessarily, but definitely a lot of opportunities to, you know, fall in the plats and lose 10 seconds. So hopefully neither runner runs into that specific issue.
Yeah, it looks like Valley is just gradually pulling more and more ahead. About a 40-second differential from getting the D Dark, which is just saving all those little seconds throughout the split, like we said at the beginning, where there's just a bunch of little optimizations that can make or break a really good time to a good time.
Yeah, I would say definitely Crystal Peak is the area where you see those optimizations the most with stuff like Pogax, the damageless cycle, all these little
Yeah.
tricks that don't save that much time, but added up for a top runner are really what separates a good runner from a great runner.
And going left side or right side in key room. Just a bunch of little techniques that are difficult to master. And Valley quit or comes back in. Now that we've got all that we need, spawns back in Spire or Watcher's Tower, Watcher's Spire. Holy jeez, and he's going to be fighting the Watcher Knights. Uh, a difficult fight for casual players and any percent runners. However, in all skills, we have Shaman Stone and Descending Dark. It just requires either 3 Descending Darks or 2 Descending Darks and a Shade Soul to be able to kill one Watcher Knight. So it's pretty effective tools we have to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe fight at this level, but definitely a lot of opportunities to lose time to RNG or just missing small amounts of D Dark or small optimizations.
Looks like
So Valley
Valley
going
might have been
for
a little early.
a double Shade Souls instead of the last D Dark, able to end the fight with a little more soul. And
Nice.
the second pair are treating him very well. They stayed together, which is what you want to see, so that you can hit
Mm-hmm.
the D Dark on both of them. A really awkward bounce there. He would have managed to save, I think, 2 seconds if the guy hadn't bounced and just gotten hit by the last part of the D Dark. So a bit unfortunate there, but still a very solid fight from Valley.
There's a couple things that went wrong through that fight, but like you said, very solid. Uh, just very good execution all around, even if it was a little early at some points, but very well done.
Colby, on the other hand, getting pretty poor RNG. You really don't want that first one to roll.
No.
We'll see how the second pair treats him. Oh, an immediate roll from the first one. That's always what
That's
you do not want to see.
the rough. And taking a lot of damage here to throw off those Shade Souls. Oh no, it definitely hit. Okay.
Yeah, so able to get it, but really unfortunate there. He
Mhm.
lost a lot of time to just bad RNG.
Still though, being able to
Second pair
execute,
being a little nicer
yeah, and being
there,
able to
able to manage
execute
to get D-Darks.
even with that poor RNG is quite respectable, actually.
Absolutely, yeah. And we see Valley destroy Lurian. There's a few small optimizations he was doing with the dash slash. Looks like Colby is not going to dash slash the elevator. That does save, maybe 0.1 or so, but it is sort of a nice little optimization that we saw Valley go for.
And with
He
this,
gets the Watcher Knight's chest.
yep.
This is all the geo we're going to need for the rest of the run.
We're coming up to our Isthmus tier split, which is a set of 3 skips, 1 spike tunnel and 2 acid skips, all in rapid concession, whatever. They're one by one right after each other.
It looks like I believe Colby actually fell out of Lurian, which is a really unfortunate time loss.
Oh wow, yeah, that is unfortunate. The Isthmus skips is known to be one of the 2 major roadblocks to all skills runners, needing a bit of precise movement. However, I'm sure at these runners' levels, we'll be able to see some very well done skips. First
It
try.
looks like Valley getting the first try spike tunnel. Really nice execution there. There's a couple ways to do this last acid skip. Well, there's 2 ways really. There's the setup-less and the setup version. I believe Valley is a big proponent of the setup-less version, so we'll see whether he gets that.
Oh yeah.
Yep, being really low on the wall.
Oh.
That's the setup list because you don't need to be at the precise position you would be normally, and gets the dash jump. Really good execution from Valley, nailing all the skips first try and
Mm-hmm.
getting the early control.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems we didn't really get to see it with the unfortunate restream problems. But trust us when we say he definitely executed it very well because he got it right. So
Looks like Valley having a bit of trouble. Took the 1 intentional damage tank for early control, but also took another bit of damage just from the Horn being in a bad position. So being on 3 health, we'll see how this C dash goes, because this one you can definitely die on 3 health just
Mhm.
from poor RNG. Luckily, he gets the good RNG and does not get stopped in his C dash.
Very well. Well, I guess it's RNG, so he didn't really do much, but you know,
Very,
Colby,
very fortunate, I guess.
Colby at the
Colby
Isthmus
having a
tier
little more
skips.
trouble with the spike tunnel. Able to get it, though. Very nice.
And we'll be seeing Valley coming up to the Moloch room here as Colby finishes off the last 2 parts of the Isthmus tier skips, getting the first acid skip well done. Will he go for setup or setup-less? Looks like a setup situation.
It looks
Good,
like a
good.
setup and nails the setup. So
Yeah,
that's
it was
pretty cool
very
that we
good.
saw, the 2 different strategies, but both runners nailing it. I think that's a great showcase of that specific skip.
Absolutely. Oh, the warmth giving
Ooh.
an unfortunate pattern, not
Oh,
hitting
and bounces
Colby.
off again.
That is
Wow, that very unfortunate for Colby.
giving a little angry smack to the worm afterwards. That is so unfortunate. If that worm comes into you and hits you during while you're picking up the Isbisteer, you'll get early control and be able to leave the room, similar to what Descending Dark was.
Yeah, ooh, looks like Valley had a very clean Mollerks.
Yeah.
There's one that's RNG, whether it hits you or not, but the rest are just based on precise positioning. Also nails the base and skip here. This is a similar thing to the setupless Ismas, where you do a dash jump into a wall, but able to nail both of those. So pretty impressive stuff from Valley.
Indeed, on a very good time here. About Watcher Nights, I would say is the midpoint of the run. So we're quite into the run now, and Valley doesn't seem to be letting up at all with sorry, with his run, or sorry, he's not. He's still holding on strong. I can't speak today.
Yeah, it looks like he had a quite good Broken Vessel fight as well. Able to get the 2 double hits with Shade Soul at the beginning, then Broken Vessel almost immediately went into the headbang attack, and Valley was just able to D-Dark him to death after that, which is really nice. The headbang attack is really what you want to see in all skills.
Yeah,
This, I would say, is an excellent Monarch Wing split for Valley.
Yeah. Only taking 1 mask of damage without the entire split is very that's what people really like to see.
Absolutely nailed the Mauler, got those hit lists, nailed the base and skip first try, and a pretty good Broken Vessel fight as well.
Oh, that was very well
Next,
done with Colby. Oh.
Ooh, Colby getting hit by that 1 RNG Mauler. That, as you see dash, it's just based on the positioning, maybe FPS dependent, maybe RNG, but you can do the same thing both times and get hit only one of the times on there. So a bit unfortunate for him as Valley moves towards Hornet 2. So one of the harder boss fights in the run. And his stream's dying a bit. Hopefully that's not a predictor of him dying to Hornet 2.
Yeah.
As Colby having a little more trouble with the base and skip, able to get it 3rd try.
Yeah.
Generally, we say like 1st try with that saves a little time. 2nd try about breaks even. 3rd try loses about 1 to 2 seconds. So still a lot of respect to Colby for going for it, especially in a race setting. You know, it's a cool skip. It saves a little time if you get it 1st try, and I think that's something that we can all be pretty happy about.
Yeah. Colby also gets the 2 doubles and goes right into a headbang phase. This is going to be a very quick fight. Just needs 1 more soul and then dive, and that's it for Broken Vessel. If you get the 2 doubles, you only need to do 4 more D-Darks on the man, or on the Broken Vessel, to be able to defeat it. So very well executed from both runners. And now Valley, just a couple more screens until he gets to Hornet 2. Likely,
yeah, we did see Colby enter the fight with a little bit less soul, so did end up having to go a little bit longer, but still a pretty good Broken Vessel fight. We'll see Valley actually skipping the safety bench. You definitely would not expect him to die to Hornet 2, but it can happen, so hopefully he doesn't, because he would have to walk all the way back from somewhere. I think from Muller's, yeah.
Yeah, likely Muller's room, basin. But here we go. Oh, the stream's gonna get...
And the stream's dead. A lot of these particle effects in this room can be quite difficult to render, I think, especially on a low bit rate.
It's unfortunate that
getting some nice RNG there with the needle throw, because that's the time when you can D-Dark. Also, I believe got a double. So good stuff from Valley. Hornet 2 behaving, not giving him a lot of parries, which is, you never want to see parry attacks because they're just really annoying, as we see one there.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So Valley having an all right Hornet 2. She did troll him a little bit with some of the jumps and one of the parries, but still able to make pretty quick work.
Yeah, very well executed. And Colby, yeah, like we said, just kind of bleeding time here, unable to get those precise movements that Valley has trained for. Just, yeah, every split losing a few more seconds, just a few more seconds, and now the lead has become a little more major than it has been before, with about a 1.5 minute lead, roughly.
See, Valley luckily not invalidating his run. If you release the nail art too early, you gain invisible control, which is a major glitch. For the leaderboard, it invalidates your run. For this tournament, it would be a time penalty. I believe it's 5 seconds, but
yes,
might want to double check that. But luckily, Valley not facing either consequence because he executed the skip perfectly. So Valley heading into Cyclone Slash. This is a pure movement split with only a tiny bit of RNG. Colby, on the meantime, heading into Hornet 2.
Yep. Not a whole lot to say on Cyclone Slash. It's just a lot of C dashes and dashes. So we'll probably be focusing on Colby as he fights Hornet 2. Hopefully doesn't get very many parries as Hornet parries. I say that.
See the
Uh,
first one, oh, and the second one, as well as sort of a really awkward spacing to where he couldn't really get a double, and a
mhm.
third parry. Ugh.
That was a nice
Gets
double
double
there.
on that one. That's what you want to see.
All right. Colby
The
had a bit
fourth
of a
parry
rough start. Yeah, but working it out now.
gets another double there though.
Nice.
We'll see the strategy that Valley goes for in going through King's Pass the other way. There's been a few new optimizations found just in the past month or so. So we'll see whether he goes for that. As Colby manages to take down Hornet 2, she really did not behave, but Colby
No.
able to handle the bad patterns pretty well.
Yeah, it was still a really good fight overall. Not a whole lot went wrong other than the bad RNG from Hornet, of course. Very well executed. And
Valley
Colby,
going for this is a new optimization, I believe, for Monsteller on the climb between KP and the first room and cliffs. Able to execute that very cleanly. That's always something that looks really cool to see. And I really feel like whenever you're kind of climbing up a tall room, especially one with a lot of platforms, this is really where the movement of Hollow Knight shines the
I have
most,
to
and where you
agree.
can see all these tiny optimizations that a top runner can save, 0.1 here and 0.1 there. So
Mhm.
really nice to see the good execution there. We'll be seeing a few more of those rooms later.
Yeah, wings and claw are just such a nice combination together. Jumping everywhere, clinging and jumping. It's just a lot of fun. But now we'll be coming back to Dirtmouth, where we'll be heading to our second Dreamer. One of the heaviest RNG portions of the game, Umu, the boss fight. Um, there are a couple of ways to one cycle. Valley very recently discovered a new one.
Ooh, Colby
Hopefully,
rescuing another grub.
oh, nice. Hopefully, we'll be able to see some execution here. I mean, if the stream allows it.
Yeah, Umu not as heavily of an RNG based boss as in around like any percent, but still can definitely lose you a lot of time just due to the RNG.
Mhm.
However, there's no pattern from Umu that makes you unable to one cycle. There are a lot of patterns that are significantly harder to do it, but there's no pattern that makes it impossible, which is nice to see in all skills. A run that's one of the I guess more consistent runs.
Mhm.
So Valley goes for an optimization with the cyclone drop in this room.
Actually, from what I've heard, I don't believe Valley's new one cycle has a backup strat yet for an extra attack. I wonder if there actually is one from Valley, and he just hasn't revealed it yet. And maybe we'll see it right here. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think this is one of the only times when we've actually wished for an extra attack from Umu.
Yeah, isn't that ironic? And we'll be seeing that right here as Valley drops down the cyclone.
Cyclone drop there just a tiny bit faster than the inventory drop. Um, I think in general, there's a lot of inventory drops that we're
Oh,
recently discovering are not quite worth it.
it
Sort of
looks
a
like
funny
Valley
thing to see.
is actually going for the regular one cycle instead of the new one he discovered.
Yep, luring Umu a little bit lower, then going to go up to the top
Oh,
platform to lure it a little bit higher.
okay. Umu was moving a little short there, so I was worried it might have been an extra attack, but nope.
Gets both doubles and gets the one cycle. That's just a textbook, really clean one cycle from Valley. We'll
Very
see if
well
he gets the
done.
wall cling storage as well. Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
And
one of
the
my
air
favorite
jump.
wall cling storage in the run.
It looks very pretty. Well, I'm definitely going to be questioning Valley about that in the post interview. But now that Valley is going to get the Monomon Dreamer here, we'll see Colby coming up to it here, having to go through Fog Canyon. There are a number of ways to do this drop that Colby will be coming up to. We saw Valley with a Cyclone Slash version. I wonder what version Colby will go for.
Yeah, there's kind of three versions. There's the Trinomi drop, which is just kind of dropping and avoiding all the platforms. There's what we call the Axe drop, that is that plus an inventory drop for part of it. And then there's the All Skills version where you do a mini Cyclone as well. So
All right.
we'll see whether Colby goes for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, does get hit there. That's a bit unfortunate there with the Luma flies.
Yeah. Maybe a little not far left enough, or even going a little too quick, perhaps. Not entirely sure how that happened, but did get hit, causing quite, or not quite a bit, just a bit more time loss, putting him slightly
Yeah,
more.
luckily, Umu is not a boss that's too dangerous in terms of actually dying to it. So three health is not too bad for Colby. I definitely would not expect to see an Umu death, which I
Mhm.
should not have said that out loud because now I'm worried about the calm curse. But we'll see how he goes, and if he goes for a one cycle, if he gets it. Valley going for a cyclone on these planks.
Mhm. Getting the RNGC dash through the Umu there, or whatever those mid-sized jellyfishes are called. And
Valley
Colby,
going for a very clean climb on the Fog Canyon up to Green Path. That's another one of those climbs that I was talking about earlier with the climbing up a vertical room.
Colby's going for the same one cycle setup as Valley. Yeah, got it
And
too.
got it. Nice.
We'd love to see it.
Really clean from both runners to get that one cycle.
Definitely. And here we're coming up to Great Slash. Another pretty movement intensive category similar to Cyclone Slash. This one a little more interesting, however, with all of the
Yeah, there's been a
wild
lot
time
of
free
small
dashes.
optimizations that have been found just in the past couple weeks. A lot of people have been ILing it, trying to get on the comp sub sheet, and I think that particular comp sub has actually gone down by multiple seconds just during the course of the tournament.
Mm-hmm. And the music here is always so good.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And with that, we'll be ending our cyclone a bit early, or sorry, our Sea Heart a little early, so we don't just fly into the vines there. And we're gonna
Valley
come
going
up.
for that swag little wall jump. There's a very small amount of that right wall that you can climb up at the bottom. It's a bit precise because if you're too high, you'll go into thorns. If you're too low, you'll just fall back down. But Valley able to get it and having a fairly clean split. Few minor mistakes, but overall, definitely something that I think he can be happy with in a race setting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
See, Colby actually going for another optimization that we saw from Valley going for the left side archives exit as opposed to the right side that you'll see a lot in either any percent or just in a lot of all skills runners that are used to the old movement. This again something that been timed very recently with the timer mod. We've seen a lot of small optimizations, and that's one
Mm-hmm.
of them that is just a really cool optimization.
Definitely. I wonder how much time left side saves. It can't be like more than a second, right?
Oh, definitely not more than a second. I would say
Yeah.
probably like 0.2, 0.3.
It's amazing. Anything though to give us that little bit of time, lower and lower.
Exactly, especially as all skills is getting so much more optimized.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Valley
Colby
coming.
attempting the airwalk, unfortunately, was just a little bit too far to the right and didn't quite go over the seam at the right point.
Yeah.
Just going to be a tiny time loss, though, as Valley goes through this this squid arena.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect
quite clean
execution
execution from Valley.
on the Great Slash.
Yeah, sometimes those squids can be pretty annoying, as they fly around, they dash when you don't want them to. But
Mm-hmm.
Valley able to make quite quick work of that. It's a pretty impressive arena.
Yeah, very well done. Still full health, full soul for the upcoming Dark Rooms going into Beast's Den. Or sorry, I guess Dark Deep Nest is probably a better way to say it. Um, we still have Queen's Gardens to worry about, though. It's a fairly easy split. And with the amount of practice these people put in, I'm sure they'll be able to get through it without any issues.
We see Colby actually going for another strat that's pretty cool. We saw Valley go for it as well, where he pogos off the background object instead of off the enemy, and that just has a bit fewer lag frames. Very small optimization, but something that I really like to see, especially since it's something that could be PC dependent before and now is a little more consistent.
Mm-hmm. No under-platform Valley. Boo.
Ooh,
Oh, and
actually,
actually, yeah.
missing the hazard thing. I never know what to call it because I know like Thorn Jump is something, Thorn Warp is something, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something else. But just a cool trick there that's on the 1.2.2.1 version where the hazard respawn is incorrectly placed, and so you can end up at the bottom of the platform.
Yep. And this is the last section before we're going to be coming up to Dark Deepness, just a fun dash area where you avoid a few enemies, collect a bit of soul, and then we're going to drop down here, and we're on our way to Dark Deepness after this. Oh, going for a second, unfortunately missing
It
the
does
edge
hit the
there.
platform.
Yeah, and it stops them a bit early. But that's okay. Here we are in Dark Deepness. Near impossible to see anything, but the runners know exactly where they are at all times. Not going for... Oh, all right. You know what? One
You're
health.
not going for all the inventory drops here. I think there are some of the inventory drops that are more safety strats for those rooms as opposed to actually time saves. Valley having a pretty clean room up until the end where he got hit by the spider, but overall, I think going to be pretty happy with this split.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a strat where you the sudden dark if you feel you need your health there, but taking the 1 damage is probably going to be a bit better for Valley than having 1 less soul, especially since we can
Yeah, we'll
kill.
see. There's something that a few people will do where they will, instead of going out the right side of the room after Hera, they'll actually kill the Devout on the left side again.
Mhm.
So it's something that it only saves time if you enter Beast Den with full soul, but we'll see if Valley goes for it. As he also goes for a new optimization with the full right side climb up to Hera, going up those platforms instead of going over to the left wall, then back to the right. It does save a little bit of time when executed well, but is also a little bit harder. But Valley
Mhm.
able to do it quite well.
Yeah. I'll be sucking up Hera here, and we'll see if Valley goes out left or right. So
The
Valley's
Colby, on the
on...
other hand, moving through Queen's Gardens, able to get a quite clean Petra Arena. We'll see if he goes for underplat. Ooh, and does. Gives the people what they want.
That's what we're
Nails that
looking
skip.
for.
First try. Nice.
Valley is on a very good time here, looking like perhaps maybe not quite a 50 flat, maybe a 51, depending on a few RNG segments. Um,
Yeah, there's
but
definitely a lot of room for Valley to lose time in these next splits, both due to RNG as well as due to some difficult execution that's required, both in the THK fight as well as the Abyss climb. So hopefully it all goes well for him. We'll see how he fares in these splits.
yeah, we're definitely seeing a very good time on our hands, though.
Absolutely, yeah. Colby too. He's been behind, but still on pretty good pace. I'm not sure where this stands relative to his PB, but he really hasn't made any massive mistakes. Like he hasn't had any deaths or any like huge time losses. So
Well, that
really
is
good to see that
true.
from a run. We're both runners. It's not just a total blowout because one runner like dies to Hornet 2 or whatever.
Hmm. Actually, Colby's PB is on SRC anyway, is a 54.06. I believe he is on pace to beat
Uh-oh.
that right now. Ooh, that was
Okay,
scary.
ooh, Colby playing with our hearts a bit, falls off the platform, but able to make that save in the dark. That's pretty impressive.
Hmm.
And luckily does not have to climb all the way back up because in the dark that can be very fraught with peril.
Looks like Valley got the wall cleaning storage on the door there. Always exciting to see. And we'll be coming up to Sibling Climb once we transfer through a few rooms here. Um, Something a little scary depending on where the siblings drift to, but there are fairly consistent ways of dealing with them, mostly um, smacking their heads with a nail, pogoing on
Yeah.
them.
Yes, this is one of two climbs that we're going to be seeing from the next few splits. It's the less consistent one for sure because sibling spawn placements and how they move is determined by RNG. But luckily, Valley, he did have a bit of awkward RNG where he had to go around some platforms that he would have preferred to go over, but doesn't get hit, which is really important.
Very well done.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we'll be coming to our second to last skill in the game, Shade Cloak. There is a little optimization where we quit out. It's actually slower in real time, but because we are on a loadless timer, it saves about 10 seconds actually. Yeah, so we're going to quit out here, wait for the load to bring us back to the screen, and then load back in. Actually, maybe because Valley's computer is very quick, it doesn't save or doesn't lose that much time in real time. But if you're on a rougher computer, it probably real time does not. Yeah.
Yeah, luckily it's you get the item at the beginning of the cutscene instead of the end, which is nice kind of for that little optimization. See Valley going into the Abyss Streak split. This is one that has also seen a few new optimizations just since the start of the tournament. Valley goes for some of them, like that pogo off the background object.
Mm-hmm.
So Colby has managed to now destroy Hera, and he's going to be heading over to the Abyss. We'll see how the sibling climb goes for him. As
Nice.
Valley goes for another small optimization, he hits the Kralid twice, then goes for a C-dash that does the last bit of damage, and another small optimization where he starts the Abyss Streak animation from the middle of the room, and that means that the animation won't pull him into the middle of the room. Instead, he can just move into it beforehand, and that saves a little bit of time.
So, according to chat, Colby is only 15 seconds behind PB pace. Excuse me. So we might see a little bit of a PB here, depending if he can catch up. Uh, but it looks like he's just on pace, which is still, for a race setting, incredibly good.
So we'll see the Abyss climb from Valley, able to execute pretty well so far. Not going for the small optimization, going to the left side of the platform, but able to go here, coming up on now triple spike pogo, 1, 2, 3, and perfectly executed. Gets another pogo here. It goes on that side of the platform, pogo, pogo, and excellent execution from Valley.
Yeah,
That is a really good Abyss climb.
it really is. And Colby not quite getting the best RNG with the siblings, however, makes it through
Yeah,
very
Colby
well.
actually getting very awkward RNG in my opinion.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Had to kind of go around some of those middle platforms, but doesn't get hit. Able to remain on his health for Shade Cloak, so that's definitely very fortunate in terms of not dying, even though the
Mm-hmm.
RNG was not on his side.
We'll be seeing Valley coming up to finish off the run here. The Hollow Knight, the last boss of the run. This is a full game run, so we do need to defeat the Hollow Knight. And people say it's quite easy. You just shriek him a whole lot of times, or sorry, Abyss shriek him a whole lot of times. It does the most damage out of any other ability in this game. So we'll see. I can't
Yeah, it's
speak.
definitely it's sort of one of the easier fights to survive, but it's a really hard one to get fully optimized. So we'll see how Valley goes. This is also a very heavily RNG based fight because some of the attacks, like the dashes, you really don't have the opportunity to get good shrieks on. It's funny because it's sort of the opposite of any percent where you want to see the dashes to get doubles.
Mm.
So Valley went for the Cyclone chains, able to get, I believe it was a 2 and 3, like 2 hits on the first chain, 3 hits on the second. If you get at least 5 chains, 5 hits on the chains, it does save time. So that's going to be a nice little time save for Valley.
Hmm.
He's maybe on pace for a low 51, maybe even a 50 flat if he has a really good THK fight.
Yeah.
Getting pretty awkward RNG a bit so far because he's getting a lot of jump backs as Colby gets Abyss Streak. We'll see Valley use Abyss Streak a lot against THK.
This is actually turning out to be quite a clean fight from Valley, pumping out
Absolutely,
quite a bit
yeah.
of damage, getting some good dashes into.
And he
Not
skips the first scream. That's
nice.
something you always love to see.
Oh, knows
Goes for the scream
exactly what
skip
the
and
damage
gets
is.
it. Nice. He
Wow.
knew that he was already getting there on the perfect line, and Valley absorbs the Hollow Knight as Colby begins his Abyss climb. Colby going for a few sort of safer strats, more consistent strats, as opposed to the strats Valley was going for, but able to execute them quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like Valley on pace for a low 51, which is really good for a race setting.
Quite a clean sibling climb. Yeah.
GG to Valley. And Colby falling a little. I think still going to be pretty happy with this Abyss climb. Only had a few minor mistakes, nothing too major, and didn't dunk into spikes at all.
Yeah. A 51:10 from Valley. Actually, it's an incredibly good time for a race setting.
Absolutely. And even sort of relative to his PB, that's, I believe, something like 40 seconds slow, which is, whenever you can play within a minute of your PB and a no reset setting, I think that's always,
Mm-hmm.
something that's really good, especially in a race, because you want to take a few more safe strats there to keep the safety of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we'll be seeing Colby coming up to THK like Valley did. It's hard to get as good of a fight as Valley did, but
Yeah, it was an
hopefully,
excellent fight.
yeah, Colby will be able to execute something similar.
The great slash to get early control there. That's kind of one of the things I really like about all skills is at the end of the run, you do the great slash to get early control in the well. When you're going to Umu, you do cyclone to get early control in the well. And then when you're going to Sea Peaks, you do the dash slash to get early control. So it's kind of cool to see sort of that evolution to where you get all three nail arts to gain early control at different parts of the run.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. Each one for different point of the run. That's fun. And here we are. Colby's flying through Black Egg Temple, making it to the last boss, going to
Coming in with
smack.
quite a bit of soul, which is nice.
Oh yeah, that's true. 2 free casts of Shriek, or Wraiths, sorry, and only needs 2
Does not go
hits.
for the cyclone chains. It's a bit more consistent. Just go for the nail hits. And so we'll see how he does on THK. Able to start with a shriek. Ooh, immediately sees a dash, which is unlucky. Oh, and another dash.
Yeah, Colby seems to be a little less practiced with Hollow Knight, it seems.
Yeah,
Going
the
for
parries
some.
actually are not a bad attack to get, as opposed to the way they are on Hornet 2, because he stands still when he does a parry, or it stands still when it does a parry, and it's a nice opportunity to get a shriek in. Colby able to get a scream skip on the second scream, gets the first scream skip by doing enough damage, then gets the early control by taking damage.
Yeah.
Able to get this attack. This is a nice opportunity to get shrieks if you have the right spacing, but the spacing is quite difficult. And able to get the bullet hell attack. This is one of the more dangerous attacks, but you also get the opportunity to do a lot of damage. Ooh,
Nice.
Colby playing it very, very dangerously, but able to, it pays off because he manages to actually skip the last scream with damage. So really pays off for him. Colby not getting the best RNG for Hollow Knight, but able to make quite quick work of Hollow Knight regardless.
Very good
I believe he's just going to be a
execution.
bit behind PB, but still a very respectable time for Colby. I think he
Mhm.
can really be proud of this run.
Absolutely. In a race setting, he's only 20 seconds off his PB. That is crazy. That is so good.
So now that we have the GG, we'll see if we can get both runners in here for an interview.
Both of them are marked as done. Valley's already in the setup. We'll see Colby hopefully joining soon. And then we'll get a post-race interview. If anyone has any questions, feel free to type them out in chat. Hello there, Valley. Congratulations.
Hello there.
Hello. Hello.
Colby?
What's up? Good race.
GG, Colby.
Colby, I'm not sure if your SRC is totally correct, but if it is, you're only 20 seconds off your PB. That's
That
really
is
awesome.
correct. 19.2 to be precise.
That is awesome. Congrats on that. Good run.
Thank you. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. And Valley, congrats on your win again.
Yeah, thanks.
You raced quite well.
So I guess I'll start by asking: is there anything that you guys want to say about that race? Any specific moments that stood out?
I don't know. It felt quite sloppy on my end. I don't know why I couldn't like just focus at all up until probably Crystal Peaks, and me like going for all sorts of swag strats probably didn't really help, because it was like I was trying to go for all of them to gain some kind of confidence, but I failed nearly every one of them, so it didn't help at all.
Oh no. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, we did
Like-
see that impressive backup though on the Pogax.
That was actually not like a bad RNG. It was just execution mistake. I just actually missed the axe, the pickaxe.
right. Well,
Really happy to back it up.
yeah, that looked very impressive. The backup, quite fun.
I didn't even try to back up mine. I just went.
Yeah. Valley, a few people might be a little disappointed that you didn't go for the new Umu one cycle you discovered. Is there?
Oh, you didn't do your own.
Well,
Is there-
it's actually not even my discovery. It was like Underline who labbed it out for current patch. I just ported it over to 1.2.1
Oh,
for
fair
memes, and then people actually find it like useful. So that's good, I guess.
enough. Are you saying it might not be better than the original one
Oh,
cycle?
it's actually way easier than original one cycle, but still.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is there any backup yet for extra attacks for that new one cycle?
Oh yeah, sure. You just kind of wrap around, like swim in the acid beneath the Umu and make sure that Umu doesn't go too low onto the platform, so you can still kind of push it away with nail hits.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I imagine it would be close to like the any percent.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
It's just like any percent 1-2-1 backup, but you don't dunk in acid, so you just kind of adjust for it a little bit. It's
That's
like not like a rocket science or anything.
fair enough. Anything you two want to work on in particular with your runs?
I think for me, it's mostly the boss fights. I can't think of anywhere else that I'm losing a lot of time to like everyone who's godlike at this game. But I got one thing I was happy about was getting the underplat in Queen's Garden.
Nice.
Yo, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
the
I
best
haven't seen. I didn't watch like the race back, but it's definitely like highlight.
For sure. In Valley, I think you had to take 2 tries at.
yeah, second try. Yeah, that's exactly what
You
I
gone
was
for the
talking about.
underplat, I guess.
No, I didn't go for the underplat. I just kind of missed the normal strat.
Well, still very well done. Anything you would like to work on, Valley, for the future?
Oh, I messed up Mighty Spogo 2 races in a row, but I'm not sure if I need to work on it because outside of the race conditions, basically never fail it. But I don't know. I think I just need to better mentally prepare for the race because yeah.
What's preparation? I haven't played the game since my last race.
Oh, I played the game, but yeah, I took a break for like maybe for a few days after I got the PB recently. So I
feel like quite a few people are starting to get a bit burnt out on Hollow Knight, on speedrunning on all skills. Understandably so. It is quite a bit of pressure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
But both of you, well, Valley for sure is going to make it to top 16 now. Colby, I believe you've got a tie.
I don't think I have a chance.
No?
Since we're doing opponent win percentage, my first 2 opponents dropped out.
I see. Fair enough.
So it was 0% wins. I don't know how they're counting it, but I think Slorent only had 1 win before dropping out.
Right.
So it'll be tough for me to make that cut, but that's all right.
Yeah. Well, Valley, good luck in top 16.
Thanks a lot. It was definitely a fun bracket, and yeah, I definitely agree that there's like some all skills burnout that it's like it just kind of feels around. So hopefully we won't see too much over like dropouts, and it will be all right.
Douglas, do you have?
I think once it starts bracket time, well, pretty much everyone that's in brackets is super into it, and so I think they're wanting the competition. But
Yeah,
should be
yeah,
good.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think definitely the change from like Swiss to the brackets, just kind of bringing any change is definitely gonna pump people back up.
Very much agreed.
Showy Rhombus 943 in the chat, as well as follows, my friend. Thank you for believing in me, even though his PB is better than my sum of best. Also, Showy Rhombus, I see you talking about wanting to speedrun it and stream it. If your console has native streaming capabilities, then all of your streams get auto-saved on Twitch for a certain period of time. You just make a highlight on Twitch in your channel.
Yeah, there's good ways to stream Hollow Knight from any platform.
And if you're looking to get into it, there are video guides on YouTube for basically every category. So find your category, join the Discord.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah. We're always looking to increase our numbers. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess if that about wraps us up, then thanks a ton to Valley and Colby for putting on a great race, to Sylvie for commentating with me, as well as to Speedgaming and Insomnia and Pisces for organizing all of this.
And thank you, Douglas.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us. It was definitely fun race.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Be sure to follow commentators as well for their awesome job. See you next race. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.